Hey guys, what's up? It's Spartacus here. Today I'm going to be doing a top 10 list, my first top 10 list, and this is going to be the top 10 common cards in Arena. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be releasing top 10 lists for the best and worst cards in Arena, all separated by their rarity. So common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. Top 10 best and worst. So these cards are all being evaluated in a vacuum. So picture it like it's the first card in your draft, and in the case of neutral cards, like you don't have a specific class. Like some cards are obviously better with other classes. Like, we all know Cult Master's better with, classes that have minions on board like Paladin and whatnot. Just an example. But don't think about it like that. Just think about it like in a vacuum. These are the best cards. Like first pick, you snap pick this. Or first pick, you definitely don't pick this, because in the case of the worst list. So today, I'm going to be kicking off with the best uncommon cards in Arena. And you're going to see some very, some cards you see a lot on here. Or you always see these in Arena just because they are that good. So kicking it off with number 10 is the Assassin's Blade. The Assassin's Blade is the rogue weapon that costs 5 mana, that has 3 attack and 4 durability. So this card can trade 4 for 1. If you can just kill, 4 3 health minions with it, that's insane. We all know in general, weapons in Arena are just great. Now, it does cost a fair amount. I mean, it costs 5, but the value you get for it is terrific. And the reason why it's also better is because now these days, you can assume, like, in Rogue, you're going to get weapon buffs. Like, before it was just deadly poison, but now there's Tinker Sharpsword Oil, which is uncommon, and there's Goblin Auto Barber, which is also uncommon. And this combined with weapon buffs is absolutely insane, especially Tinker Sharpsword Oil. Once you get that combo off, if you do, on this weapon, you can just ignore everything on the board and just start smacking them in the face, because you're going to kill them in a couple turns. It's insane. Obviously, Rogue you have to be careful, because you don't have like armor like Warrior does with all the weapons, so always try to like draft healing and stuff like that, but in general, this card can just win you games all the time, and it slots in at number 10. Number 9 is the Druid card Ironbark Protector, the 8 mana 8/8 taunt. So if you get a draft with Druid with a lot of these, you're going to win the late game, because classes can, usually be able to deal with 1, but it's tough to deal with 2 and 3 and 4, etc. This is the card that you see like at least a couple of in the 12-win Druid decks. It is absolutely fantastic in the late game. On turn 8, you can drop this and they don't have any like removal for it. They have to run their minions in. It just trades all the time, like 3 minions for 1, and those are minions that are already on the board. It's kind of like, a board clear in a way sometimes, because they have to just keep running their minions into it. So it's just such a powerful card in the late game, and it just single-handedly is the reason why Druids, if they have these, will win the late game all the time. Like against everything. You just have to be able to survive, and then you just start playing these, and you can win. So Ironbark Protector is number 9. Number 8 is that premium removal, that Polymorph. The Mage card, the 4 mana transform a minion into a sheep. We all know Polymorph. It is a staple of the very common Mage in Arena. It is a very good form of removal. That Ironbark Protector, that's gone. You trade it card for card, and you get a big tempo swing because it's only 4 mana. Although the way to look at this is sometimes it is 6 mana removal, because you like to ping off the sheep. You never like to leave minions just sitting out there. But at the same time, like, they play like a Boulderfist Ogre, and then you polymorph it and you play a Boulderfist Ogre. That is a huge swing, which will win you a lot of games. And in general, hard removal is just good. Speaking of hard removal, number 7 is Hex. Hex is the Shaman class card. 3 mana, transform into a 0/1 frog with taunt. Comes in just ahead of Polymorph because it costs a little bit less. So, even more of a tempo swing. You'll see, again, 12-win Shamans, they'll have a lot of Hexes, or at least a few. And it's just a huge tempo swing when you can destroy a big creature for significantly less mana and then still have more mana to play your own minion. Could really turn the game around. Hex is a fantastic card, and just you don't have to worry about Death Rattle or anything with these transformation cards. They're fantastic. Comes in at number 7. Number 6 is the Paladin staple, the card you want in Arena if you're playing Paladin. It is the True Silver Champion, the 4-mana, 4/2 weapon that when it attacks you restore 2 health. So unlike other weapons, you don't have to worry about, taking too much face damage, especially sometimes in Arena you can get rushed down these days. There are a lot of fast decks. True Silver Champion can mitigate that a lot. That 4 attack always trades 2 for 1. It's just such a good card, such a staple, and for 4 mana, you can kill 2 other 4 mana things with it. A huge swing when you put this down on turn 4. If you can get it down on turn 4, you go ahead in the game pretty well every single time. It's just too good. It is the main 4 mana card you're looking for in Paladin, although there are a lot of good 4 mana Paladin common cards. But True Silver Champion is the best, and it comes at number 6. Number 5 is Fireball. The 4 mana deals 6 damage. So good, so versatile. It can also be considered removal. A lot of things don't have more than 6 health, so you can use it as tempo removal. You can do the 4 damage or the 4 mana, deal 6 damage to, a Temple Enforcer, and then play your own thing. So that, and then the fact that it can target face is why it's just better than hard removal in a lot of cases, because sometimes in Arena you just run out of steam, and they've taken back the board and they've managed to stabilize, but they have low health, and then you top deck that Fireball. We've all had it happen to us. It happens all the time, and especially with multiple ones of these, you can just do 12 damage to face. So it's basically like play your deck, get them down to that amount of health, draw these, and kill them. So Fireball, extremely powerful card. But there are 4 cards better than it, in my opinion, in all my debating and whatnot. So, number 4 is another mage card, common theme on this list, the Water Elemental. The Water Elemental is the 4 mana, 3/6 with freeze. That is incredible. You play this on turn 4, it is consistently a card your opponents just can't deal with on turn 4. Like Fireball and Hard Removal, 2 other cards on this list are the answers. But the fact, if they don't have that, this is going to trade 2 for 1. It's such a powerful presence on turn 4. The fact that it can freeze, it can literally just stop classes that have weapons. It can trade into things and then freeze them, allow you to take back tempo. It's such a versatile card. Other than the Oasis Snapjaw, it has the most health and Mogushan Warden has the most health for a 4-drop, but it also has 3 attack, which allows it to take out a lot of minions. And I mean, it's just such a dominating presence on the board. You'll find often that you're like, well, any 4-drop I can deal with except if it's Water Elemental. Can't deal with Water Elemental. It's just such a nuisance, such a tempo creation card. Just so strong on turn 4, and the fact that it's strong on turn 4, and it's strong if you top deck it. It's just strong in any situation. It's so versatile, such a fantastic card, and it's a minion, so it can repeat the damage over and over again. And it's nice to, this list is very commonly, it's filled with, not as many minions, a lot of spells and stuff like that, but there are some very powerful common minions, and Water Elemental certainly is one of them. Okay, the top 3. Coming in at number 3 is the only warrior card on this list, the Fiery War Axe. Fiery War Axe is a staple in every single constructed warrior list. There isn't a warrior that isn't going to use this card. And it's because in the early game, you can trade 2 of their early drops for 1 of your cards and immediately take the board and you're off and running. That's just way too powerful. They coin out a 2-drop, you play your Fiery War Axe, you kill it, then they play another 2-drop, and then you kill that, and you are able to play a card at that point because you have the mana, and suddenly the game is yours. Fire War Axe can just win you the game immediately, and it's so cheap. It is 2 mana for 6 damage. Think about it like that. And as a warrior, you can armor up, so you don't even have to worry about taking the base damage as much. So Fire War Axe in general is just so powerful, and weapons in general are very powerful in Arena because they can trade more than 1 card for 1 card. So it slots in at number 3. Number 2, the Fire Elemental. 6 mana, 6/5, that Battlecry deals 3 damage. This card is insanely powerful. First thing is it's a big body, and in Arena, you can't afford to have too many big bodies, but you can't afford to have too many Fire Elementals, because when you play this card, if you're behind, you can immediately come back and get a big body on the board. That 3 damage can be targeted to anything. It is so versatile. Usually you can trade that card, like one card with that 3 damage, and then they have to trade like another 2 cards to get rid of the fire elemental a lot of the time. It's such a big imposing threat, and it's just such a tempo swingy card. You'll find if you are getting a very far in Shaman, you're going to have a bunch of these. Fire Elemental is the card that wins you games with Shaman, along with Hex. Just such a power swing on the board, and it's here because of the tempo it really creates. So number 1 is no surprise to anyone, I'm sure, if you play any bit of Arena in Hearthstone. It is the Flame Strike, the 7-mana mage spell, the 4th mage card on this list, which is why mage is such a popular class in Arena. Deal 4 damage to all enemy minions. This card is the epitome, really, of why mage is so good. It's great when you're ahead, it's great when you're behind, it's great when you're even. It is so good. So if you're ahead on board, you have a bunch of minions on the board. They don't have removal for them. They don't have like a board clear. They play a bunch of minions to counter you. Instead of having to trade away your minions, you can just take this card and trade 3 for 1 immediately and leave them in the same situation, except they have significantly less cards in their hand. If you're behind on board and you're about to lose, they have a bunch of minions out on the board, you just play this and all of a sudden the game is reset. They have initiative, but you've just traded so many cards for 1. And if you're tied, you know, like they have minions, you have minions, whatever the situation, you have just like less minions than they do, you play this and now you're ahead because you have the initiative, you have the board. It is just incredibly powerful. It's the reason why when you play a mage, you have to be careful. You can't go too like all in against them and play like fill up your board with all your cards, because you can't afford to give away cards to 1. You can't afford to 4 for 1 yourself, or else you'll just lose. And this card does that every single game. It's so consistent at doing that. It's such a fantastic card, and it's common. So we saw all the mage common cards, and that's the reason why mages are so powerful, because they can get these all the time, and they get multiples of them in so many decks. So that is the top 10 common cards in Arena. I will be bringing you the rest of the lists later on, so check out those and subscribe if you want to be notified when they come down. And let me know what you think. Do you think the order's wrong? I'm missing some common cards? There are a lot of very strong common cards in the game, and some I really wanted to put on this list, but I can't. So let me know what you think, and like and subscribe for more content. So thanks for watching. I'm Spartacus, and I will see you later.